In this lesson, we're going to be creating delete functionality so that we can delete reminders that we no longer want. We can use this to delete old reminders, or if we change our mind, we created a reminder and we no longer want that reminder to be sent. So to start off, we have our delete buttons, but what we need to do is we need to add some type of functionality to that. So right now you can see they're just pointing to hashtags. They're not actually doing anything. But what we want to happen is when you click on the delete button, or rather this delete link, it should fire a request to a delete view, which will then handle the deletion of the reminder. So let's switch over to our code. In our views.py file, we're going to go down 2 lines and we're going to create a new view. So let's define our decorator first. So our blueprint is reminders, and we want to define a root. The root is going to be the server root, reminder, a reminder ID, and then delete. And then we want to restrict the methods to just get. There we go. So then we need to go down a line and we can define our function. Let's call it delete reminder. It's going to take one parameter, and that's going to be reminder ID. And we'll just return empty for now. So what we've done is we've created our view, and we've set our root to /reminder /the reminder ID /delete, and we've obviously restricted it to get requests. So what it's going to do is Flask is going to compare the submitted URL in the request to this root, and if it matches it, it's going to pass along the request to this view. So just like in our index root, when it's just / it's going to point it to index. Now if it's reminder / a reminder ID / delete, it's going to know to send the request to this view. You'll also notice that I added a reminder ID parameter to the delete function. These angle bracket notations within Flask roots mean that it'll lift this data or this string, and it'll place it into this parameter. So that's kind of what that's what the decorator does. It injects these variables from the root into the view so that you can use them within your view logic. So let's continue building out our view logic. We know that we have a reminder ID. We're getting that ID from our URL, but we need to get the actual reminder using that ID. So the first thing we need to do is we need to query. We need to go reminder is equal to reminder query filter by ID is equal to reminder ID, which is the parameter we were passed, and then we want to make sure that this reminder exists, and if it doesn't, we want to return a 404, which is a document not found. So let's go first or 404. So this is just this is a nifty little handler that Flask gives you. It basically just says query the reminder, get the very first one that exists. Otherwise, if it doesn't exist, return a 404 response. So then we'll go down a line. So now that we have our reminder, if we've gotten to this point in our code, that means that the reminder exists, which means we can go ahead and delete it. So let's go db session delete reminder, and then we need to commit that. So go db session commit, and then we need to indicate that the delete was successful. So we'll go flash, and we'll say reminder deleted, and that'll be a success message. And now we need to return a redirect. We want to redirect back to our index. So we'll go return redirect, and we want to get the URL for the index. So we'll use our little helper function, URL for, and we'll just pass in reminders dot index. And reminders is our blueprint, if you remember correctly, and we want to go to our index view within our blueprint. So that should be good for our view. It doesn't look like the linter's complaining or anything, so let's switch back over to our index file, and let's point our delete buttons to the view that we just created. So to do that, we're going to use our URL for helper function. So we'll go URL underscore for, and then we're just going to go dot delete underscore reminder. And then we're also going to have to pass in the reminder ID. So we'll go reminder underscore ID is equal to our reminder dot ID. So what we've done is we've just we've used the URL for function to get the delete reminder view URL, but because the URL includes a reminder ID, we need to indicate which reminder ID we want. So that's what this parameter is for here. So let's hit save on that, and let's switch over to our Chrome tab and refresh and see what happens. Okay, so nothing bad happened. That's good. Let's try and delete one. Let's delete our hello world one. Okay, so it looked like it worked. We got our flash message, which is reminder deleted, which is great. I'll just get rid of that. And you can see that the hello world reminder is no longer there. So it looks like it deleted, and I'll just double check. We'll refresh the page. Yeah, you can see it's no longer there. So it looks like it worked. It deleted the reminder, and it gave us the message that we expected. So now that we've got it working, let's make it look a little bit better. Let's replace the text within the delete link with some icons. So to do that, we're going to use a library called Font Awesome, and I'll show you how I use it. So let's switch over to our editor. Let's go to our base template, and I'm just going to add a JavaScript file. It's an external JavaScript file, so I just have to paste it in like this. We don't actually have to create the file. Make sure that it lines up. There we go. And you can see it's Font Awesome, and it's just linking out to their CDN version of the file. So let's save our base template, and then we're going to switch over to our index template, and we'll get rid of the delete text. We're going to replace that with an icon. So we'll go I, and then it's going to have a class. Actually, it's going to have a couple classes. So FAS is like a base class for Font Awesome. And we're going to use a trash can. So we'll go FA trash, and then we're going to close that, and then we'll go like that and close up our icon. There we go. Okay, so I'll hit save on that, and then we're going to switch over to our Chrome tab, and we'll just refresh. Okay, cool. So you can see it updated to an icon, which is obviously a little bit better than just the delete text. It's blue though, which is kind of weird if you think about as far as deleting something. It's a little weird to have it blue, so maybe we'll change that to red. So let's switch over to our code, and we want to open up our custom CSS file. So it's in our static directory, our CSS folder, and styles.css, and we'll go fa-trash. And we want to set that to a color red. So let's just go FF1234. Hit save on that. We'll switch over to our Chrome tab, and then we'll refresh. And there you go. You can see it's red. It's a little bit more of a makes a little bit more sense as far as a delete icon to be red. So let's try and center it a little bit so that it doesn't look so offset compared to the table header. So to do that, we'll go back to our editor. We'll open up our index file, and we're just going to add a class to this table cell here. So we'll go class text -center, and we'll hit save. This is just a bootstrap class that'll center the table cell for us. So let's check that it's working. Go over to Chrome, refresh. Okay, and you can see it centered the icon within the cell so that it doesn't look so oddly offset, and just kind of makes it look a little bit cleaner. Yeah, so that's looking really good. The functionality is working, and we replaced the icon with, or rather the text with icon, which I think looks much better. So before we finish up, let's switch over to our shell. and we'll do our git commit. So let's see here. I'm going to clear this all out, and we'll go git status. So we made changes to our style sheet. Yeah, that's right. We added our JavaScript file, and then we made some changes to the index file, but we also created a new view. So that all looks good. We'll go git add dot, and then we'll go git commit, add delete reminder functionality. And there we go. So that's the end of this lesson. We created our delete view. We tied it into our interface, and we updated the delete button to use the font awesome icons. And I think it's definitely it's looking good, and it's coming along real nice. In the next lesson, we're going to be creating a user model that we'll be using to secure our application.